consequences and apologies.
Sir Topham Hatt had received word that he heard that Oliver had caused an accident, but we all know that it wasn't his fault. "How did this happen?" asked Sir Topham Hatt. "Well," said the harbor manager, "Oliver was just about to collect his ballast cars when some cars in front of him he was about to push had smushed one of the cars, some of the China Clay cars, and they all went in the sea." Sir Topham Hatt was very flustered. He then spoke to Oliver severely. "I am very disappointed, Oliver. I cannot believe you pushed the cars that were in front of you right onto a siding where some China Clay cars were. And thanks to you, you've caused much delay. I'll arrange for a duck to do your work, and you shall stay in the shed until I can get to more at the bottom of this." Oliver didn't want to argue with Sir Topham Hatt, so he just steamed off without saying a word. As Duck was about to arrive and collect Oliver's cars, a lady pulled up to Sir Topham Hatt. "Please, sir," she told Sir Topham Hatt, "it wasn't Oliver's fault that he shunted the cars into the China Clay cars, which was dumped into the ocean." "And who was it?" said Sir Topham Hatt. Oliver was about to arrive to collect his cars, and as he was about to collect his cars, Harry and Bert had shunted some empty cars right in front of him. They then rolled away, and they were the reason why Oliver had pushed the cars that were in front of him into the China Clay cars, which were dumped into the sea. They were also the ones who caused Percy to be in that accident he had at the coal yard, and was the one who caused Donald to be stuck in the middle. This made Sir Topham Hatt very surprised. "Thank you for telling me, lady," he said. Later that night, the engines all had an indignation meeting, and Gordon did most of the talking. "It's really dreadful," Gordon huffed. "I say, it's really dreadful. Percy gets blamed for an accident he has at the coal mine. James looks silly. Donald gets stuck in the middle, too. And to add to that, Oliver gets blamed for causing an accident. So then, after shutting some cars right in front of some China Clay cars, all thanks to Harry and Bert." Ugh. And before Gordon can say anything else, Sir Topham had arrived. "I found out who caused all this trouble," he said. "I was told from both Thomas and Lady that the reason Percy had had an accident at the coal yard was because Henry had accidentally bumped into his cars. But it wasn't him, and it was all thanks to Harry and Bert. They were also the ones who made James and Donald look silly, and caused Oliver to shunt the cars that were in front of him into the China Clay cars." He then turned to Henry. Henry, I've heard about what you did, and you're not being punished for what you did. Accidents like those you caused can sometimes happen. And tomorrow, I'm going to have a really big word with those two troublesome diesels. All of the engines were relieved. The next morning, the two diesels were found out by Sir Topham Hatt. And after a severe scolding, the two diesels were court-ordered to do freight duties as punishment for their naughty behavior for the rest of the week. Sir Topham Hatt then apologized to both Percy and Oliver for blaming them for the two incidents. Both Percy and Oliver were relieved. By the time Harry and Bert's punishment was over, they promised never to make the engines get stuck in the middle ever again. And they've also promised never to tease them again either.